It's hard to imagine what the internet would be like without search engines. After all, we search the internet for literally everything we can think of multiple times a day. But what if someone is searching to play a game like yours? Well, in this video, we're going to go over some of the things you can do to not only make sure that they find your game, but they purchase it as well. So first, let's talk about etiquette. So search engines are just machines, and machines can be tricked. But you never want to trick a search engine for two reasons. First, they are updated all the time, and if you get on top of a search engine the wrong way, you won't stay there for long. Second, people want relevance. If you game your way to the top with something irrelevant, you won't make any sales because you're not what they're looking for. Don't try and cheat your way to the top, do it the hard, slow way. It's worth it. Trust me. So number 2, let's talk about the concept of SEO, just so you understand it. So optimizing for a search engine is actually easier than it sounds. There are just a few mental shifts that have to take place for you to understand how everything fits together and what you can do to improve it. The first thing to note is that you have to think in terms of what a customer searches to find you. Most people brag about their optimization because when you search their company name or game name, they show up number 1 in search results. But if customers are searching your name, you've already done your marketing because they've heard your name before somewhere else. Most of the planet has not heard of your game, so they will search for the kinds of games that they like. For example, they'll search for fun casual games or hard platformers. Keep this in mind when you are preparing all your press and marketing materials, as appealing to the people that are actively looking for you is one of the easiest sales to make if you do it right. If you pick the wrong keywords, either A, no one is actually searching those words so you won't get any traffic, or B, they're not looking for you so they won't buy what you have to sell. Generally, you want to look for longer, lower traffic, specific search terms. They tend to work better than general terms. Think about it. If someone searches buy hard casual games, they're much more likely to buy your hard casual game than if they searched games, or even worse if they searched free games. Always get as specific as possible if you can. There are a few ways you can research keywords, get ideas for new ones, and look at search volume. Google has an official keyword tool, but my favorite is actually SpyFu. That one lets you look at your competitors' keywords. Why not let them do all the hard work? But I've got both of their links in the description. So number 3, let's talk about on-page optimization. So whenever you're writing headlines for devlogs, descriptions on game portals, or even captions on your screenshots, you are writing text that will be read by search engines. And you want to make sure that they understand what your game is and what it's about, so they can serve it to the right people when they search for it. Now this is a slippery slope because you also want to optimize for actual humans that are reading the text. You don't just want random keywords in an unreadable pile of text. But it never hurts to throw in a few of your research keywords here and there. It takes some practice to learn and write for your audience while also using your keywords, but it's not as hard as it sounds. Just don't go overboard. So number 4, let's talk about off-page optimization. This is the part that almost everyone misses, and yet it accounts for 70 to 80% of the actual search rankings Google gives you. Off-page optimization is the act of building incoming links to your site, but also including your keywords in the anchor text of those links. For example, instead of just making the URL of your game the actual link, you can make it read something like Meatball Mayhem, the super hard platformer. That way, Google knows what your site is generally about, and the more of these types of links it finds, the more associated with that keyword you become. The best way to do this is to get press or blogs to cover and link to your game. But you can also do this by posting and sharing on social media, putting a link to your game in their forum signatures, and even interlinking your own games or websites with each other. Now Google can take a long time to index specific links, which means if you post a link today, Google may not find it for 4 to 6 weeks. Now that means that SEO is a longer term strategy. It's not something that you want to do when you're about to launch. It's something that you want to do all through the development process to build up that power over time. It's also worth noting here that not all links are created equal. There's a thing called PageRank, which means that certain pages have a higher value to search engines than other pages. For example, if you get featured on the New York Times, you're going to get way more link juice than if you get featured on some random blog you've never heard of. So just keep that in mind. Number 5, let's talk about advertising on search engines. Search advertising is one of the best performing types of direct sale ads because if someone is searching for your type of game, chances are they want to play it ASAP. Bigger search engines like Google have gotten a bit expensive over the years, but if you know that your game sells and it has a proven track record, search advertising is a great way to boost sales. Google AdWords has the most traffic, But the Bing network and AOL, believe it or not, are actually pretty good networks too. I would check them out. Now I need to say this. Advertising on search engines is not something you just do. You either have a selling game and you want to increase the amount of sales that it gets, so you move to search advertising, or you want to test how well it sells with your current system. If you just put up an ad and hope your game sells without actually measuring the analytics, monitoring the data, and split testing, you're not going to get very far. Now that's a whole video on its own, so I'm going to cover that in the future, but for now this video just has the basics of search engine optimization and advertising. So that's it for this video on Search Engines 101 for indie game marketing. If you have any questions, you can contact me on Twitter @TimRuswick and I'd be happy to answer them.